So do you want to talk a little bit about your father and how he inspired you?
My father was born in Chihuahua, Mexico, just south of the border between the United States and Mexico. At the age of 6, his family moved to El Paso, Texas. By 13, he was at an age where he would enter high school, but his family was poor, so he had gotten a job to support his family. When he was in 8th grade, before all this happened, him getting the job, he ran in the grade school track team. He was 12 going on 13 when he ran 10.0 seconds in the 100-yard dash. It was 1928. I believe that was very close to the world record at that point. He never was able to go any further in track because his family was poor, and once again he had to go out and get a job. I saw pictures of him in a track uniform that he showed me when I was a young boy. And my dad went into the armed services at the age of 18. Would travel to Western Europe and go ashore at Normandy with the forces that would soon free the Jews from German incarceration. And came home, started his family. He had married before he left for the war, but didn't have a child with my mother until he came back. That would be my older brother Peter. They settled in Southern California, in the Inglewood area. And I was born in Culver City, at Culver City General Hospital at that point. I was the second child of 3 boys. And my younger brother would be born a couple years later. We were all about 2.5 years apart, the 3 boys. And my dad at that point had already learned how to become a furniture upholsterer, so that was his craft. My mother was a beautician, and together they made a life for the family. My dad showed us how to work at an early age. We got our allowance. It wasn't much, but he showed us how to work. He showed us dedication, respect for others' property, and we did a good job of it. So I learned how to understand the value of money and the relation it had to good hard work. Later, my dad my mother and father would decide to move to the San Fernando Valley. It was a better life for us. I got an education at Notre Dame High School in Sherman Oaks, as well as both of my other brothers. And I would begin my track career at Notre Dame High School as a young boy. So did my older brother. My dad was a kind person. He was the kind of person that would give you his shirt off his back at any moment. He helped the neighbors with their gates and fences. He made furniture for them. We as boys would babysit their children. We would mow their lawns, wash their windows, wax their floors, and all that would bring us the money that we wanted to have the things that we wanted. And we weren't a lot of pressure on my dad and my mother for money because we had our own, and that was good. My dad had one weakness. He was a gambler. He didn't gamble too much. After one situation where he gambled most of my parents' money away, he realized it was a mistake, and my mother would never let him forget it. And so he basically went from a guy that wanted to gamble a lot to a guy that didn't want to gamble too much, but he did a little bit. And he learned how to control himself. He was a real example of honesty, dedication, loyalty. He gave me all of those traits. He never put any pressure on me to be great in sports, to be great in school, although school came naturally for me. He would go from being a furniture upholsterer to a wall upholsterer, a person who could put fabric on walls and ceilings in rooms to make them beautiful and comfortable. And he taught my older brother and I that trade, both at different times. And for some reason, I was a natural, and so I live a pretty good life using that trade as income. My father, like I said, never put a lot of pressure on us in athletics or anything, although he was a great athlete. That just wasn't his way. He died on April 21st, 2001, and I was able to be with him again a little over 2 years later when he returned. And for the first time, I understood the paranormal and how a spirit can come back and be with a loved one. And I'll never forget that day. I'll never forget him. He will always be with me. I even talk to him. And I ask him the whys and wherefores, or why is this happening, and why is that happening, and why did this happen in the past, and so on and so forth. So it's a funny thing when you're really sure that somebody has returned and you've been with them. You get this feeling that he is always at your shoulder, always.
All right, so let's before we break out of here, how do you balance, your work with, your workouts and your training? How does that fit into your lifestyle?
Well, the work at my age, I'm very fast and very accurate at what I do. I persist usually from 7 to 8 hours days, but I'm willing to go out 7 days a week. I am about a third of the time climbing scaffolds. I'm certainly on ladders all the time. I carry heavy equipment, but I'm in such fabulous shape I can go almost every day and work out. I guess I'm driven. I enjoy it. It's all quite easy for me, especially after you've been doing it for a while. Your body gets so well conditioned that you couldn't think of not doing it. I am living my 65th year of life, and I guarantee to you that I'll be doing my life well over 100 years because I eat right and I exercise at the highest possible level.
So do you want to say where your website is, the name of your website, or what it's called?
My website is www.fabricinstallations.com. It's exemplary of the type of work I do, some of the locations that I've done. It links it to my track career to show a history of who I am as a human being. But mostly it shows the work that I've done and how it relates to the buildings here in Los Angeles mostly, and it concentrates on the value of acoustic wall coverings to absorb sound and make large rooms like the Staples Arena sound proper. so that music will sound excellent and the crowd's cheers will be muffled so as not to interrupt the sound of the music and the entertainment that goes on there.
All right, so everyone, you know where to go to. The man who does what he does. So, Steve, we really appreciate you taking your time out to speak with us, and hopefully, get the word out about, health and, eating properly and exercising. So we really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.